Many of us know about Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, and some may know about the many imitators and clones in the arcades that came out at the same time. I'm here to talk about a fighting game franchise that wasn't in the arcades, but is still up there as one of the good clones of these games. When the major fighting franchises started bringing their games to consoles, Sega wanted to bring a fighting game to call their own. So in 1993, they released Eternal Champions to the Genesis. The story of the game involves 9 of the greatest fighters throughout history that meet untimely and unjust deaths. They must now compete against each other for a chance to fight the Eternal Champion and reclaim their souls. The victor will return to Earth with a chance to avenge his or her death and restore balance to the universe. Each of the champions has a biography detailing their lives, death, and importance to the timeline if they win the tournament. This is a lot more extensive than the standard storyline of most fighting games of the time. Graphically, the game is very well done. It makes very good use of the Genesis color palette, and it only starts to degrade when you play on larger screens. Each of the 9 characters has their own look. Backgrounds range from near a prehistoric volcano to a futuristic fighting cage. Some of the stages are a little lackluster and don't really fit the character that the stage is supposed to represent. The sound of the game is overall good. The music is varied, with each stage having a very distinct theme. Also, the sound effects are good, and the voices of the characters are mostly done well, save for a couple of characters. The heart of the game is the gameplay, and in a fighting game, this is probably the most important part of it. I will get this out of the way right now. The learning curve of this game is steep, very steep. Button mashing will only get you past the first match if you're lucky. The game uses the standard 3 punches, 3 kicks control scheme, so having a 6-button controller is a must, since changing modes with the start button is very cumbersome. The main problem comes from pausing the game. Instead of just pressing start, you must press in conjunction A, B, and C. This is even odder since to unpause you just press start. Pulling off special moves takes some time to pull off, much like Mortal Kombat, but you're limited in what you can do since every time you use a special move, it takes down your gauge, which does regenerate over time. You can insult your opponent to drain his or her gauge. This would be a good strategy, except the computer opponent can still do special moves even if the gauge is depleted. You can not just defeat opponents, but completely annihilate them. Like Mortal Kombat, this game has a way to kill off your opponents in what this game calls overkills. These finishing moves involve having your opponent in the right place when you deliver the final hit, and you let the background do the rest. There's also a number of modes that can be played in this game. Train mode has a number of options. There's also a 2-player mode which has many options as well. There's an information section that tells the story of the game and biographies of each of the characters. Also, if you're defeated in a match in story mode, you will not only have to defeat that opponent again, but also have to defeat the previous opponent as well. This adds a lot to the challenge of the game. This game may have a lot of things in common with more popular games, but it also has many things that are completely unique to it as well. The learning curve to controls, while steep, is very rewarding when you finally get it under your thumb. The playing difficulty is also high, since losing has bigger consequences. If you get past the difficulties of the game, there's a very good game to be had. It has plenty of gore for the Mortal Kombat crowd, and the skill requirements for the more experienced. Overall, a very good fighting game, and it has the options to make it last a good while even after beating it.